topping the news at 5:30. Companies, hospitals, airports, and more were brought to their knees today after a major technology outage worldwide. The cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike says the outage is related to Microsoft cloud-based services, and it was not caused by a security incident or cyber attack. Now, we are joined now by Dominic Sellitto, a security expert at University at Buffalo. And Dominic, we really appreciate you joining us here at 5:30. All right, Dominic, let's start with...
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, what is CrowdStrike? What do they do? Just explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity firm, and what they really provide is software solutions and services to large enterprises that are trying to defend against the latest threats in the world, the latest hacking attempts. And they're used by organizations all over the world to kind of help them to prevent and detect these hacking attempts before they happen, and to respond and recover when they do.
Got it. So kind of interesting, they're used to prevent hacks, and what happened today was not a hack, but it was similar to one because it impacted a ton of people like a hack would have. How did today happen? How did this all go down?
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. I mean, impact is impact to organizations, and what we're seeing today is an impact at a global scale. And basically what has transpired today is these security software rely on quick updates in order to prevent against the latest attacks and threats that are faced by organizations all over the world. And what CrowdStrike has released as part of information is that they had pushed an update sometime in the middle of last night to their Falcon software, that essentially what the update was designed to do, as these typically are, is to help kind of bolster the defenses of organizations. But instead, it seems to have caused a bug that impacted Microsoft Windows operating systems on devices around the world. And unfortunately, that bug caused the computers to crash and then enter into sort of this consistent reboot and then crash and reboot and then crash cycle. And that's what's really been a driving force behind the impacts to organizations today.
Interesting. And similar to our phones, right? You do those updates kind of in the middle of the night, hoping maybe it doesn't impact as many people, but this has just impacted so many throughout the entire day. What are you suggesting to businesses? What do they need to do to keep these, this type of thing to a minimum or not to happen again?
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult conversation for organizations to have, because this type of problem can happen with a lot of software. And so it doesn't have to just be cybersecurity software. Like today it was CrowdStrike, but tomorrow it could be other software. And we've had software in the past that causes these bugs that cause computers to crash. And one of the ways in which organizations have protected against this risk is to sort of delay updates to software until they've had a chance to be tested. The problem with the cybersecurity software is if you delay, then you kind of leave yourself vulnerable during that delay to an attack. And so I think it's incumbent on organizations to do two things. The first thing is to examine their software and see where it makes sense to auto-update these tools, and see where it makes sense to delay and test before updating. And on the flip side, it's imperative that organizations have these what we call business continuity plans and disaster recovery plans that allows them to fall back maybe wherever possible to some alternative method of business. We see this with hospitals switching maybe back over to paper records. It's not ideal, but it keeps the business running. And so I think organizations should really focus on those two things to help try and prevent these things from happening, but also have some sort of mitigating steps in place for if they happen in the future.
Yeah, kind of need a backup plan. Again, this was not a hack, but does anyone have to worry about their home computers or laptops?
Yeah, no, definitely not a hack. The reporting and the out of CrowdStrike and from other organizations impacted is that this is not a cybersecurity attack, and your average home user and average consumer doesn't necessarily have to worry about this. The CrowdStrike platform and their suite of software is really designed and targeted at enterprise customers, and so your personal computers are likely totally fine, and there shouldn't be any issues there to worry about.
Okay, very good. Anything else, Dominic, that I didn't ask?
No, I think you covered everything. I think, it's going to be a tough couple of days for organizations around the world, but I am very, very, very heartened by the quick response of organizations and government entities and the companies involved themselves throughout. So I have hope that we'll be able to recover from this quickly.
All right, and some are already recovering. Thank you, Dominic. We really appreciate that insight.
Thank you very much.